Muy buenas tardes a todas las personas que están conectadas en este momento. Mi nombre es Camila Flores. Yo hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales y hoy estaremos realizando un webinar con University of Adelaide. Hoy nos acompañan Ashley y Alexandra, quienes estarán realizando la presentación. Y antes de comenzar, quería comentarles que con esta universidad tenemos un descuento del 20% sobre el valor anual de la matrícula para beneficiarios de Colfuturo admitidos en Masters by Research y Postgraduate Coursework, un apoyo de hasta 2 años. Y ellas estarán comentándoles un poco más acerca de este convenio que tenemos. Alexandra y Ashley, welcome and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, and thank you, Camilla, for the introduction.
For sure, you can now start the presentation.
Fantastic. All right. Well, hello, welcome. My name is Ashley Folland, and I'm calling in from Adelaide, from the University of Adelaide. It is an honour to be speaking with you today and answering any questions you have later on. The University of Adelaide is a very proud partner of Colfuturo and has welcomed Colombian students to our city and campuses since 2009. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Alexandra, who will be available to help answer any questions you might have this afternoon. I'd like to start by telling you a little bit more about Adelaide and the state of South Australia. And I would like to acknowledge that the university's main campuses are built on Kaurna land. The Kaurna people are the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which the city of Adelaide is built. And I'd like to acknowledge the deep and ongoing connections to land and cultural beliefs. Life in Adelaide, what's it like? Well, Adelaide is the state capital of South Australia. It's a very multicultural city. It's a small population of 1.3 million people, but we have a very diverse community. It's
Ashley,
a very relaxed...
Excuse me,
Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt. We're not seeing the presentation just in case.
Okay. Thank you. That's my mistake. Thank you very much, Camilla. Can you confirm you can see it now?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Adelaide is situated in the southern state in Australia. So what is life like in Adelaide? As I said, it's a very relaxed and vibrant lifestyle. There's a lot of natural attractions within close proximity to the capital, and Adelaide City is known for its festivals and its culture and arts. We have a Mediterranean climate down here, which is a hot, dry summer between December and February, and a cold and wet winter, June to August. Adelaide is Australia's safest, cleanest and greenest city in Australia, and it is a great study location for those reasons. So a little bit more about the state. Up in the north, we have the Flinders Ranges, a fantastic geological site that attracts many visitors. It is full of unique landscapes and important and relevant Indigenous history for our state. Down south is Kangaroo Island, which features a lot of rich wildlife and stunning coastlines. Adelaide in South Australia is also known for its wine regions, and we are proud of our agriculture and wine industry. And we also are blessed with fantastic beaches along the whole coastline of our state, which attracts a lot of recreation and fishing. So advantages of coming to Adelaide. It's an affordable city. Adelaide is Australia's most affordable mainland city. The cost of living and transport in Adelaide is significantly cheaper than living in Melbourne or Sydney. Working in Adelaide, most international students do work some amount of part-time work in Adelaide to assist with living expenses, meeting new people and gaining experience in the Australian workforce. Adelaide has a wide range of industries that offer part-time and casual work to international students. Public transport. The Adelaide Metro is the city's public transport system. There are trains, buses, trams, and a number of free transport systems within the city. Tertiary students in Australia will receive reduced ticket prices as well. We also have a free bike service in Adelaide as well, so you're welcome to hire bikes for free and get around the city. It's a very accessible city. And the university also has a shuttle bus system which can shuttle students for free around our 3 main campuses. Accommodation. Australian University of Adelaide students have access to quite an impressive portfolio of university managed student accommodation options. The Village is the largest student accommodation service offered by the university. It is situated in the middle of the city and next to our central markets. There's also the option to stay at Urban Nest, which is a high-rise apartment complex, and it's basically on campus, so just across the road, so you're very close. We have the Roseworthy Residential College, which is located out of the city, and Mapnia, which is very close, but it sits within the suburbs, so that's another option. Of course, in Adelaide, you also have the options to organise your own private rental to share house as well. Okay, so what about the University of Adelaide itself? With over 140 years of educational experience, the University of Adelaide is one of Australia's most prestigious universities. At the University of Adelaide, you'll be studying in an environment that pursues excellent creativity and cultural diversity, and it gives graduates the opportunity to become global citizens. As established in 1874, we are Australia's 3rd oldest university and is one of Australia's most prestigious universities. We have an outstanding reputation, and Adelaide connects Australia to the wider world, and we attract leading scholars, international students, and partner corporations from across the globe. So why Adelaide? We are a research-intensive university. We are a member of the Group of 8 in Australia. We are highly ranked worldwide. We have a number of prestigious alumni. We have a very multicultural body of students and staff, and we allow students and provide students the opportunity to study overseas as a part of their degree with us. We are also the top in the state for STEM. We're very proud to have produced 5 Nobel Prize laureates. For more than 140 years, our researchers have had an impact over the world, contributing to the invention of the X-ray, insulin, penicillin, and even the Olympic torch. Australia's only had 15 Nobel Prize laureates, and 5 of them have been awarded to the University of Adelaide alumni, so we're incredibly proud of that. We also have a number of other notable alumni. Australia's first female Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, the 7th President of Singapore, Tony Tan, and Australia's first ever astronaut, Andy Thomas. As I've mentioned before, we are a Group of 8 university, and we consistently ranked in the top 1% of the world's universities. So with the Times Higher Education, we're 118, Shanghai Jiaotong Academic Ranking, we're 137, and of course 106 in the World University Rankings. As mentioned, being established in 1847, so 1874, the University of Adelaide contains some of Australia's most iconic and historically significant buildings. We have 3 campuses: North Terrace, which is nestled in the heart of our city and is the primary location of undergraduate teaching and is the historic core of the university. We also have the Roseworthy campus, which is an internationally renowned centre for dryland agriculture and animal production. It is actually located on 160 hectare property, and the campus is a working farm on which students gain practical experience and training. And then we have our Waite campus, which is the largest concentration of agricultural research and teaching in the Southern Hemisphere. So this is where our wine studies are based from. As a research university, we have fantastic facilities that allow cutting edge research and services across all of our campuses. Our Hub Central, though, is our most favoured service and facility by students. It is located in North Terrace. It is where students meet for access to shops, to food, to coffee, but also very importantly, computer hubs, access to a lot of academic support services, and also printers and study spaces and access to our library. So it's certainly the hub where students come to meet and study. Okay, postgraduate study at the university. As a research intensive university, we offer postgraduate coursework and research degrees. Our postgraduate coursework degrees provide knowledge in specific disciplines, and most degrees are around 2 years in duration. Some follow a semester program and others follow a trimester program. Some of our featured postgraduate coursework degrees are our Master of Public Health, our Master of Biotechnology in the biomedical field, our Master of Geostatistics. We offer Masters in Engineering in all our engineering degrees: electrical, electronical, mechanical, marine biology, marine engineering, and more. We obviously have a very prestigious Master of Business Administration, Education and Machine Learning, and more. So I think my colleague Alex has shared with you a link to our full suite of postgraduate coursework degrees in the chat just now. We also, of course, offer research programs. We attract some of the best research students and staff from across the world. And we do work with world-class researchers in world-class facilities. So we are really keen to hear from any of you who are interested in taking on a PhD through a research program. If you're interested, the university has just launched a new podcast series called The Discovery Pod, which introduces a number of our leading researchers in a more casual format. So you're welcome to follow the Discovery podcast and hear about some of the research areas that our staff and students are currently working on. We've been looking at the COVID-19 disaster from an Australian perspective. Our researchers over at the Elder Conservatorium and Science Department are looking at how and why music makes us feel certain things. And then also, of course, looking at different research topics like food security and the future of climate change and the issues we're tackling. I also wanted to bring to your attention Adelaide X, which is the University of Adelaide's free Moocs platform. And so we have a number of courses that you can access already at the University of Adelaide for free. Our 5 most popular ones in 2020 were Project Management, A World of Wine, our Entrepreneurship program, essential human biology, and some work and a Moocs program around online security through cyberware. So do jump onto our Adelaide X website and take a look at the free courses, short intensive courses that you're able to take to give you a bit of a feel of our academics and our student learning environment. Where if you make the decision and when you make the decision to study in Australia and Adelaide, here's some information around the English language requirements. We have IELTS and TEFL with an overall score of 6.5 for postgraduate work. We can provide you more detail with that later on in your application process. I just wanted to highlight that the University of Adelaide has a fantastic international student support team that will be available to you as soon as you arrive in Adelaide to help with all the issues or questions you might have relating to your scholarships, to your student visas, to adjusting to life in Adelaide, and assisting you to connect with other students. We have a broad range of social programs to support with students settling into Adelaide. Talking with Aussies is a great one, adjusting with the lingo of Australians or the strong accent of Australians. There is an opportunity to practice your Australian English with Aussies or students who have been living in Australia for a long time to help practice that. So that's a social program. We also have a more formalised language and cultural engagement program where students come together and share culture and learn more about each other's. Again, being a multicultural city, there's huge opportunity to learn so much about other people's. Every Friday morning tea, International Student Services run every Friday a morning tea for people to catch up more casually. And then there's the Global IQ Connect program, which specifically looks at developing cultural intelligence and the skills and the attitudes that come along with working effectively in cross-cultural environments. The University of Adelaide has a very supportive disability support team to support you with any learning difficulties or physical difficulties that you're experiencing, to adjust your study plans to suit you and to ensure that you can achieve the best academic outcome while you're at the university. We also have counselling support. This is hugely popular with domestic and international students. Sometimes things will happen back at home and you can feel very disjointed. It could be a natural disaster or an illness in family. So it's important that you access the support that you need while studying, so your academic pursuits can continue while you're at Adelaide. So these services are available. The university has a wide range of services, especially with the Writing Centre to support with writing with your reports and essays as you adjust to study in Australia. The Maths Learning Centre is a drop-in centre that you can access at any point. And we have peer-assisted study sessions where domestic and international peers can sit down with you and go through the work that you're currently facing. So a great load of support services. Col Futuro in the University of Adelaide are in a partnership, and so there are partnership benefits to studying with the University of Adelaide. There are tuition discounts and other benefits. Our partnership agreement is currently in renewal, so we'll be able to promote the exact details and percentages of the tuition support shortly. But know that there is dedicated on-campus support for you through your application process and when you get to Adelaide, and dedicated accommodation support to assist you in finding the right accommodation for you and run through all of the options, so you're not left alone through that process. important dates. Here are the semester start dates for the start of the year. Our semester orientation kicks off in February and classes start in March. For second semester, it kicks off in July. Online commencement is available in 2021. We'll be able to confirm that for 2022 shortly, but please do reach out when you're ready and have more clarity around which university you'll be selecting. We have a lot of information to support you in your decisions and finding out more about Australia and Adelaide on our website, so I encourage you to check that out. There's a lot of advice around what to consider before coming, calculating living costs in Adelaide, adjusting to culture shock and expectations in Australia, and of course the social programs to help you make friends and find the Colombian community in Australia, in Adelaide, is alive and well, and how to make connections as well. So there's a lot of information on our website. Well, that's all from me. I'd now love to hear from you and any questions that may have come through on the chat. And please raise your hand if you'd like to ask any questions through the channel. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for the presentation. We will now be doing the questions. The first one is from Laura, and she's wondering how could she contact a supervisor for her thesis for the PhD?
Absolutely. What area of study are you in?
Laura, si podrías comentarnos en qué área de estudio estás desempeñándote para poder realizar el doctorado. As soon as she answers, I'll be saying it out loud.
No worries, thank you.
The next one is from Juan David, and he's wondering what's the English level you ask for the TOEFL?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. Run back to that slide. Oh, here we are. So for TOEFL, it's a score out of 79, with a minimum of 21 in writing, 18 in speaking, and 13 in reading. The University of Adelaide offers the PEP program, which is the pre-enrollment English program to support students if you haven't yet reached that TOEFL score. This program has been accessed by many Futuro students in the past. It's something that is available to you. So there are different weeks, depending on your level of English, that you can take the PEP course, up to 24 months of English language support through the University of Adelaide. So those services are available for sure.
That's great. That was actually another question, so thank you.
Great.
Laura mentions it's biochemistry and biotechnology.
In the master's program?
For the PhD thesis supervisor.
Oh, of course. Excellent. So that goes, let me just double check.
So I think for any PhD applications, we have the Adelaide Graduate Centre that you need to apply through, and they can support you to find appropriate supervisors. I'm just going to get their link and I'll share it in the chat, but they will help facilitate finding the appropriate supervisor and all the steps that you need to get through your application for your PhD.
That's great.
That's great, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me check for the other questions. Okay, this is one question that they tend to ask a lot, like what's the most important thing you look after on the applications?
Very, very good question. Alex, do you have any advice around the admissions process?
I guess just as long as you have all of your documentation ready to go and in order, there's not really anything that will set your, for general applications, I don't think there's anything that you will need besides the minimum requirements. For most degrees, there are some that have limited places. So for areas in medicine or veterinary medicine and sciences, there are some additional requirements. So there's quite a lot of information about those programs that is worth reading through, because they'll give you information about how you should be applying, what they're looking for. There might be additional questionnaires that you need to fill out, and they're just looking for your why you're interested in that degree, and why you'd like to study it at Adelaide. And usually there's an interview process as well, so they're just making sure that you're applying for the right kind of fit for you, and as well as making sure that you've got a good understanding of what the program entails, so that you're not finding it difficult when you arrive, or finding out that it wasn't really what you're after, because it's quite a commitment to apply for and to start the program in Adelaide. So I think that hopefully helps answer that question there.
Yeah,
it's very good. And thank you, Alex. And certainly for a research program, PhD program, the Adelaide Graduate Centre certainly is a great resource for asking all those questions, to get in contact with potential supervisors, so you can feel confident when you're putting in your application that you have a good handle on what you're coming to research, and from what your experience will be like and what they expect of you. So
great. Andres has two questions about the English level. So the first one is, which one is the due date? And if you know if they're accepting any other exams for like Duolingo or anything like that for the application.
For coursework, so master's programs, the application due date will be on the information page, and usually you would need to provide your English language results at that time. If you're booked in for a test, which is after that date, you can provide proof that you're your booking confirmation, and then you'll have your application finalized once you've got your test results. So once you get your results, you can send them through to the admissions team, and then they will finalize your application. For the current situation where some tests are not possible to do in person, there are alternative tests that they're accepting, so online versions. I did put in a link earlier in the chat, but I'll just repaste it there. And that shows what's currently being accepted if you're unable to do your English test in person.
Awesome. They're wondering, it's a message from Laura, if you have any programs related with urbanism or architecture design.
Yes, we do. We have our architectural school sits within our Faculty of Engineering and Computer Sciences, and they have a postgraduate coursework program in architecture. So 100%. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question from Laura is, she's wondering if she gets the Colfuturo scholarship and also applies for a scholarship with the university, if there is any problem with that.
I think that it is potentially okay. It will depend on what is finalized in the renewal of our agreement. However, there are various scholarships awarded on merit, and I think you should possibly be eligible for that if you meet the criteria. But I would say just once we've confirmed the agreement, we'd have to double check and make sure that that still is applicable.
Great. The next question is from Stephanie, and she says, how the university is going to work during the pandemic? Like, how is it going to be on 2022?
That's a fantastic question. As I'm sure you will have experienced in your studies in 2020, the University of Adelaide moved all of our teaching online. and our online learning platform systems were able to assist academics and students in working online, which was really great. Adelaide has been very lucky, and our COVID cases has been very, very low. And the majority of our restrictions have been reduced. So while we still practice social distancing, many staff and students are back on campus. But to be able to manage the large student population that we have, academics will still be doing a lot of the delivery online in 2021. And so there will be opportunities for students to be on campus, to be meeting with academics and fellow students. A lot of the lectures will be online still. For 2022, we don't know yet. We don't know how the vaccine will be in Australia, how that will go, and the whole world as well. So we've got some big global challenges to overcome before we can make a decision or a clear message around what 2022 will be like. But for now, we are certainly accepting applications from our international student cohort to take at least the first semester online and to experience that and to start getting a feel. We understand though that students want to be in Australia and want to be on campus, so we are managing that situation. So through your application and through your acceptance, you'll certainly get a lot more information from us as we nurture you through this difficult time.
Yeah.
For sure, I think that's the situation for everyone. Yeah,
I was just going to add that for your application process, the admissions team will prepare everything like that needs to be ready for you to be able to come. So you have like visa documents that you need, enrollment and everything sorted, and they'll support you to be ready for when you're able to travel. So you won't have to worry about when suddenly the border opens, you're not prepared to come. So, and if you are ready to come in 2022 in semester 1, but things haven't changed, or you want to take 6 months to defer your offer, you can do that as well. And you can defer to come like later in the year if it looks like that would be more practical.
Awesome, thank you. And the last question we have is from Yulisa, and she's wondering if for a master's admission program, is it fundamental to have any experience or is it not required?
Sorry, I just asked you to repeat the last part of that question.
If it's required to have experience to apply for a master's degree.
Oh, okay. There are entry requirements for each of our master's programs. So yeah, I encourage you to take a look at the link that Alex sent through to review the entry requirements. An undergraduate degree is often one of the main criterias to that, but also it will be assessed on each program. Rules will have different entry requirements. So Alex, do you have anything else to add to that?
I think the specialized areas, so perhaps like education and medicine and certain sciences would probably need some experience in the area. Again, it depends on which program you're looking at. But then maybe more humanities and general master's areas, it might be based on just having an undergraduate degree in whatever qualification, and then as long as you meet the other entry requirements, then it should be fine. For things like MBA, you do need to have experience in that area before you meet the entry requirements.
Yeah, thank you for that information. And thank you so much for being here. That's the last question we have for today. Maybe if you could show the slide where you have your email address, just in order if they have any other questions, they can make them. And I don't know if you want to add something else before finishing the webinar.
Yeah, I just wanted to, thank you for your attendance. I'm sorry to let you know that we did have a current Colfuturo student join our session at 8:04, well, so about 10 minutes ago, but had to jump out again, so you weren't able to hear from him. But we do have a great story from another Colombian student from Bogota who our office did a interview with. So Alex will just share that testimonial with you and story from her experience in Adelaide during COVID. So it's a great, you may be interested to take a look at that. But it's been fantastic to have your attention and your time, and we really hope to get to see you in Adelaide in the future.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todas las personas que se conectaron. Cualquier pregunta, duda, inquietud, la pueden hacer el correo que encuentran en la pantalla, y que tengan una feliz tarde. Have a very nice day.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Bye.